NCAA to the pros. If the Jets or the Giants play, you already know we roasting them, cooking them, put them on the grill. Sports talk artillery, yeah, we too real. King with the stats, coach with the smoke. WTF nation, laugh till you choke. Wednesday, heat, 8 p.m., no debate. Sports bar nation, we never show up late. This is the sports bar. Wednesday nights we go hard. Veterans strong and we stand tall. WTF nation, we run the ball. Hey, hey, turn the lights on. It's sports bar, come get your hype on. Hey, turn the lights on. It's sports bar, come get your hype on. TF nation, Wednesday domination. King and coach in rotation. Sports bar's sensation. From kickoff to buzzer beaters, we break it all down. Wednesday 8 p.m. the loudest show in town. It's the sports bar where legends hang out. WTF Nation Radio. We
Yeah. What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the Sports Bar at WTF Nation Radio. I am the actual King Smith coming at you live here Wednesday, June 24, 2026. Tonight is going to be a solo show tonight as Coach is taking a little bit of time off here and drawing up some plays for the old playbook. This might be the last show in June as I have some travel coming up here, and it might be a minute before we see the Sports Bar come back to WTF Nation Radio. I've got to talk with the station manager here about some upcoming events and things that's going on. Maybe we can find some co-hosts to step up here and see if they could do as good as this handsome man. But hope y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday. We've got a lot of things to talk about tonight here that is sports or sports related or sports adjacent. And I'm going to try to introduce a segment called Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Now, I want you to pull up a stool, grab a seat, take a listen, contribute, hit the like button if there's a like button on your platform as we are streaming across multiple sites here. But let's set the scene here. In the last 48 hours, a two-time MVP got shipped to South Beach in the middle of the night. A point guard and a 247-pound running back made the internet lose their mind as people compared a world champion and basketball player and an NFL football player, and it's blowing their mind that these people are the same height. But what we're going to talk about and see if we can showcase here if there's a reason for that. All right. A UFC fighter won the biggest bout of his life at the White House lawn. And then he said something, in my opinion, that was just quite simply out of bounds. And you should not say about any person out there. A JPMorgan executive, a literal executive who had a title that, in my opinion, sounded extremely made up, lost her job because she decided to wild out in the streets of New York and steal a New York Knicks trash can. We're going to talk about that as it is sports adjacent, and I would love to get y'all's opinion about that. A former UFC champ tried to fight an entire airport, and the arrest video, to me, deserves to be looked at and seen, and it's just everything about the video is just wild to me. So we're going to talk about that. And then the Dianna Russini news, in which her alleged affair with New England Patriots coach Mike Vrabel. There's more news that has came out of that. The fallout, that is a gift that just keeps on giving. The athletic salary has been revealed, and many people have looked at her like she just fumbled the bag. If I'm her husband, soon to be ex-husband, more than likely, I'm pissed. And if I'm her kids, I'm even more mad if my mom and her stupid ass affair caused her to miss out on an $800,000 compensation package that it is being revealed to be shown. So let's buckle up, grab your drinks, pour it around the two for your homie if we need to. I think we're also going to cover some World Cup news, as that is one of the biggest sports news that's happening right now. You know, just a little soccer tournament that's going on. You might have heard of it. It's called the World Cup. There's been some interesting developments and things that have came out of that. The whole planet has showed up in our backyard, and some of the soccer favorites out there are getting embarrassed. But before we get into it, let's come over here, check and see if we got anybody in the comment section. Shout out to God Happened to Me, said good evening. I appreciate you tuning in, lady. We also got TJ Struna that has sent an emoji that I can't display for some reason, but I see your emoji, and shout out to you for posting that emoji. It looks like a dragon with a sippy cup. And if I could display it, I would, but the app's not letting me. It is what it is. All right, now let's get into the first story here. The NBA trade earthquake. It's finally happened. 13 months after we knew it was going to be a thing, I guess you could call him former NBA champion, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, has finally got moved. He is now a Miami Heat. I want you to let that sit in your chest for a second if you're a Bucks fan. I'm sorry. To all of the Bucks fans out there, it's been real. Let me see if I can get this displayed on the screen here. All right. Giannis Antetokounmpo is now a Miami Heat. Let me see if we can do it live here.
Can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right. I think we got this displayed up here properly. Let me see if I got my notes here too. Where my notes at? Hold on. I gotta do this different. This is not displaying my notes properly. Giannis Antetokounmpo is now a Miami Buck here. I might have to get this image up differently. Nope. We just gonna go minus the image here. It is what it is. All right. Giannis is a Buck. I've said that about 13 times. If you are, or Giannis is a Heat now. If you are a Bucks fan, you have got to be upset. Now, think about this though. He did get y'all a title. He was listed as the Finals MVP. I mean, the guy did what he needed to do and brought some excitement to Milwaukee, because there's not a lot going on in Milwaukee. I don't even get how Milwaukee is sports relevant the way that they are, but that's another conversation. Pat Riley for the Heat decided to go down there and make a splashy acquisition, and boy, did he make that splashy acquisition. All right. This is going to pair Giannis and Bam Adebayo together. Two guys that are over 6'10", that are rebounders and scorers. I think that it's splashy, but what they gave up in the deal could set the Heat back if Pat Riley's not able to build a solid core group of people around him. Now, the Heat, who did a really good job of putting LeBron together with Chris Bosh and D Wade, those ended up in banners, right? When the Heat have made a move like this, bringing Shaq to the Heat as well, that also got the Heat a championship banner. So the way that this deal was structured, it sent Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis, who's no slouch himself, to Miami. The Bucks got Tyler Hero a phenomenal scorer, Jamie Yaquez, I think that's how you say his last name, who is an able-bodied ball handler. Pause. Khalil Ware, Copperish Yukionis, and I know I messed his name up, plus a gang of picks over the next couple of years, including this year's number 13, unprotected first rounders in 2031 and 2033, and a 2030 swap. The deal came at the midnight hours on the East Coast of Monday, June 22nd, the night before the official draft, but it won't be official until the paperwork clears in July. Now, if you want to take Giannis, 2-time MVP, 10-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, 2021 champion, Finals MVP, all of that jazz, 13 seasons, played phenomenal. I'm curious, though, for somebody that, while he is labeled the Greek Freak, after 10 years, is it worth it to give up that much trade capital to bring that kind of a superstar to your organization? And you're talking about a completely different market from Milwaukee to Miami. Giannis is going to get down there, and I don't believe he's married. I know he has a longtime lady. He is a father. I've seen him and his significant other together. Is he going to be able to handle the temptation of South Beach? He's 31. He's going to be eligible for a 4-year, $275 million Supermax extension coming up here in 2027. I think that the Heat are betting that he still has some prime years left in the tank, and Pat Riley knows what he's doing. Being that I guess that I'm a rookie and a Monday morning quarterback, I don't know if I could do it. Now, the Bucks this past year went 32-50, fired Doc Rivers, and Giannis played only just 36 games because he was hurt a lot this year. This to me seemed like a pretty good exit ramp for the Bucks. The fans are going to be mad, but what they gained, they could use that to build another championship run in the future. I believe that if they could have offloaded Giannis earlier, they might have been able to got a lot more for Giannis. He did bring him the finals and all of that, but who do you think won in that deal? The Bucks or the Heat? Let me come over here into the comment section and see if we have any comments. Shout out to Chris Lansford, said, "Good evening, King. Just happy Caleb Wilson was picked. And for someone who doesn't watch soccer, the World Cup is awesome. Hashtag Haley Strong." Shout out to you, Chris, for checking in. I appreciate that comment. Now, also, when we're talking about the draft night, there were a couple of things that happened. You had there was a three-team blockbuster trade that also occurred between Minnesota, the Nets, and the Bulls. Julius Randle got traded, and one of his teammates found out while on vacation. And I wish I had that video to bring up because it was hilarious. Now, I'm also looking at here Cameron Boozer, son of Carlos Boozer, is going to Memphis. And like Chris Lansford just said, Caleb Wilson, the number 4 pick, ended up going to Chicago. The Grizzlies, the Thunders, and the Pistons also had an early pick swap as well. And when I'm looking at what's occurring out there between these general managers and these NBA execs, there have been some splashy deals. Lives are about to change here in the NBA. And the advice that I have for these young men are to strap up, get yourself a good financial advisor, and cash in on any brand deals and things that you can while you are still young and in the NBA. Leverage the NBA so that even if you're not a superstar, you can have yourself a successful follow-on career after the league. Many people that follow sports and follow basketball and the NBA, they could name the starters. Some can even name the fifth and sixth, the sixth and seventh man on the team. Hardly anybody can tell you people on the team from rosters 10 through 13 or 15. You just can't do it. And these are world-class athletes that hardly anybody will recognize. So if you're one of those journeymen that you're able to secure a roster spot because you're that talented, but you don't see a whole lot of playing time barring injuries, congratulations. You're still able to make a gang of money for practicing. Practice, not a game, practice. Who do you think will come out of the East this upcoming year? Will the Knicks be able to run it back next June? Or will the Heat, with their revamped roster and whatever they decide to do in the draft, end up making it and lasting coming out of the East? Because it looks like Boston is dead. Now, speaking of NBA players, let's take a look and keep it over here where we're staying on Jalen Brunson, the Knicks, and the thing that's taking the internet by storm, that's showcasing the height difference between Derrick Henry and Jalen Brunson. Now, both of these people are over 6 feet tall. Jalen Brunson 6'2". Derrick Henry is 6'3", and there is about a 50-pound muscle difference between the two. So that's why some people are tripping. But, and I'm trying to see if I could bring up this photo here. People are legit losing their minds because when you look at it, they don't quite look the same. Where did my link go? Here we go. I want to see if I could bring this up here. Why are my links not working? I can't get anything to work right. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. We are not doing that. We are not doing that. Let's do this one instead. Let's check this one out. People are tripping because they're calling these two the same height. All right, I figured it out. Struggle streaming over here. Let's check this out. Let's do this side. And we're going to go one. Okay, let's just do this. Bam, I got it to work. Derrick Henry and Jalen Brunson are the exact same height. Now, this picture is showing Jalen Brunson against the alien known as Victor Wembanyama, who's like 7'6". But to realize that this guy is 6'2", and you're comparing him to this guy who's 6'2", 6'3", but has about a 50-pound muscle difference, most people are calling Jalen Brunson small, which Jalen Brunson, by NBA standards, isn't tall. When I looked it up prior to the show, the average height of an NBA player is 6'7", which I don't know when's the last time y'all seen anybody 6'7". But when you have a whole roster of 6'7" people, when you get somebody like 6'2", 6'3" that comes out, they look tiny. And I'm not sure why in all of the news that's coming out, why people are tripping over the fact that these two young men are close in height to each other. Susan Brandstetter said, "You crunched your face talking about that dude's relationship status and family life. Your face doesn't lie, bro." Just saying. Shout out to you, Susan. I probably did crunch my face because we all know what's going to happen once you get down to South Beach. I'm just saying. And you said, good idea, get Dennis Rodman on the show. Hey, if Dennis Rodman would come and co-host this show, he could lead the show for all I care. I would sit back and watch because I would be thoroughly entertained. So, Dennis Rodman, come out here and entertain the troops and the vets, if you will, by being a host on the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. Oh, I would love to just interview you, talk about your career and everything that you've got going on and your legacy. You've got an interesting life, brother. Susan, I would love to do that. Absolutely love it. Now, let me get back over here. That story to me, I just thought was interesting. They're both taller than me because I'm 5'7.5". But I round that 5'7" up to say 5'8". All right. I think that the unfair comparison, because when you take a look at Derrick Henry at 6'2", 250, there's not a lot of people, especially in that sport, that's going to do and can do what he can do. Like Jalen Brunson is athletic enough that he could likely play in the NFL at some position. And that's one of the debates that athletes at that level have often. There's been several multi-sport athletes that have done it great, and several people that before they got to the pinnacle of their sport, either in college or high school, were great multi-sport athletes as well. While Derrick Henry is an athlete and a phenomenal running back, can he play in the NBA? Can he shoot a J? Jalen Brunson might be a decent wide receiver if he can throw. I mean, at 6'2" is not that tall for a quarterback, but probably the same height as Russell Wilson, who I think is 6'2" or 6'3". How tall is Russell Wilson? Let me look this up. How tall is Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson is 5'11". So Jalen Brunson is significantly taller than Russell Wilson. So if he's got the ability to throw a football and he could be a pretty good athletic player out there, he could make an NFL roster. Just saying. All right. Who do you think will win in a 40-yard dash between Brunson or Henry? I don't think that is close. Like the 40-yard dash measures power and speed. It's not just speed. It's power, especially if you could get a powerful first start. Now, Derrick Henry in football, if you look at the average play, you're not really getting 50, 60 yards at a time. I think Derrick Henry's average per carry is around 4 yards a carry. The NFL does a lot more agile sprint bursting, but I would put my money on Derrick Henry in a 40-yard dash. Who would win in a game of one-on-one? I would say Jalen Brunson. But the fact that these people are the same height and it's blowing the internet's mind is interesting. Now, for this next segment here, I'm going to talk about what happened with UFC on the White House lawn and one of the stories that came from that. And I want to get the video to play it because I thought it was out of pocket. And I asked people what they thought about me playing it. And some people said, go ahead. Others said that it is uncouth of me to do it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the uncouth thing. I'm going to see if I can find the short version of it here. Here we go. Found it. All right. So let me pause this. Let me set the scene, and then I'm going to play the video. So here's what happened. At UFC Freedom 250, the first pro sporting event ever held at the White House, it went down on June 14. Now, we didn't have a show last week, so we didn't cover it. But it was a whole spectacle. And the headline should have been the history of it. Fights on the lawn of the presidential residence. A lot of people talk about it. That's wild that it's on. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see something like a UFC fighting event on the presidential landscape. But instead of that just being the headline by itself, Josh Hokett, who won over his fight against Derrick Lewis by a TKO, which would have given him the biggest win of his career, with the world watching, grabbed a mic and took the ugliest cheap shot against former President Barack Obama's wife. Now, I'm not going to say what he said. I'm going to let y'all hear what he said. So let's bring this up here. Let me share the screen. Ensure that the audio can be heard. And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 9 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by TKO, Josh Hokett.
Congratulations, sir. I'm here with the winner, Josh Hokett. Josh, once again, you proved the doubters wrong, moved to 10-0, and knocked out one of the biggest knockout artists in the history of the sport.
I'm the man with the plan, the beast that's ready to feast. You know what? Fuck the speech. Hey, shout out to Trump for having the balls to put some shit like this on. And if I'm gonna say anything, there's only one person more incredible than the Incredible Hulk, and that's my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now listen. Alex Pereira, I want a shama on your mama.
Oh, that's not the one. Hold on. I didn't get the right link. Let's take that off the screen. Actually, you know what? We'll just do it live here. Here's the longer one. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop.
Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hokett.
Why? Why? Like, really think about that. Why? What did that serve? He made a statement, and this is the crazy part about politics in general. Mrs. Obama has done nothing to anyone in a disrespectful manner that I could find. When I'm looking at trying to see both sides of the coin, and people want to come after somebody in a certain manner, I try to sit back in my chair and objectively go, what would make you come after someone that, from what I could find, has never talked negatively, at least publicly, talked negative, done anything negative about anyone over the last 30-some odd years? Besides, you know, having as many years as she's had of public service. And that's crazy when you think about it, where you use something about right before that, where you degrade and you talk negative about your fellow person. He brought up Jesus Christ being his Lord and Savior and bashed someone not even 20 seconds later, just like somebody in the chat over on YouTube just pointed out. That's got to happen to me. Yep. Not even 25 seconds later. That's crazy to me when you think about it. It did what it needed to do. It went viral, right? But there was a lot of backlash of it as well. Now, Joe Rogan was smart. Rogan didn't engage. He immediately closed and said, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hokett. Now, Josh is known for saying some wild things, right? He's talked about Brittany Griner in the past after UFC 324 in January. And this isn't the first time that he said anything about the Obamas. He's built a deliberatively provocative persona, and it is paying off. If you didn't know who he was before this past weekend, whether you keep up with sports or not, you knew who he was. Now, that was his 15 minutes of fame around that. There's been one follow-up where he tried to downplay it, and I don't have that link, but on the Barstool's website and podcast, he was trying to like downplay it and make it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was. Now, I tried to look up before the podcast that I did tonight to see if he was married. And I'm going to take the time to look in this camera and say, Josh, I'm not sure if you're married, because there was at one point when I looked on his Twitter page, he talked about having a wife that was half black or something like that. And his mom being South to Central American. I forget the specific one. I don't know those two women. But I'm real curious if someone who had a larger audience than we do here at WTF Nation Radio could get Josh's attention. Now, he likely won't come on to WTF Nation Radio now because of what I'm about to say. But what if I took the time to attack his significant other, if he has one, or his mother, and call that person a man on a stage very publicly? Somebody who has nothing to do with WTF Nation Radio, nothing to do with me and what I've got going on. If I were a fighter, like nothing to do with the bout that I was in, other than it is used to say something provocative. I'm pretty sure he would come for my head. I really don't understand people like that. And I'm going to get political here. Come for me all you want. If you have somebody at the top, like our current president, and I'm about to lose some people here, I don't give a shit, who doesn't display a presidential like status about the thing that he says, then it is not a surprise that people that follow that person would come out and say something like that. Because if you have respect for someone, that's not polarizing, because that person has respect for their fellow man and other people, you wouldn't do anything like that, especially coming out saying, I want to give it up to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And then not even 25 seconds later, shout out some very disrespectful things about a woman that has done nothing to you. Think about that. Now, on a video that I saw today, Josh came out and said, like, if I get into an accident over the next year, it wasn't on purpose, meaning if the Black Ops people come and wipe them out, we all know why. I'm really starting to hate people. People like that anyway. But that's just my take. My editor's note said that the smart radio take here isn't to repeat the insult, but what I like to do here at WTF Nation Radio is to highlight what the people are saying out there, whether it's good or bad. I don't think we should be shielding news, and we should be able to use our free speech to have these type of debates, as long as it can be done in a respectful manner. The insult that he hurled out there was indefensible, and I was happy that a lot of people condemned him. Even those that support him as a fighter felt that that was just over the line. and too far. So I think that a majority of the people did do the right thing by condemning what he said. The headline should have been sports event at the White House. Should they continue to do something like that? And I think for national pride, wouldn't it be dope to have like kind of like in the Rocky movies where you had what was it, the Soviet Union versus Rocky, Ivan Draco versus Rocky Balboa? Promote something like that and have it at the White House. Killer idea. Where you have like a nation versus nation thing. People would tune in for that. Give me our best versus your best in a sanctioned event on our nation's capital. That's an easy sell. Make buckets of money. But people won't do it. I'm curious if people think that the UFC should discipline Josh for what he said, or does that fall into free speech? Let me check out the comments, see if we have anything else before I continue. Susan said, I like your Christ. I do not like your Christians. Your Christians are so unlike your Christ. That was said by Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi, the man himself. That's a dope quote. That's a dope quote. That's a bar, really, when you think about it. Let me look at the time and see where we're at here. All right, next segment here. We're going to call this Unsportsmanlike Conduct. And I've got to get this lady's picture up because this, this is hilarious. Let me see if I could get this person's picture up here. Let me grab the link. We got to show this. This is next level stupidity here. All right, let me get this set up. Let me do it live.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
This has to be, and I've got to make this a little bit bigger. So let me swap size. That's what she said. This has to be the dumbest person I've ever witnessed in history. So the article reads, a woman who was seen on video emptying out and apparently taking a special New York Knicks themed trash can is no longer working as an executive at JPMorgan Chase. Now, the Knicks, who won the title, first time in over 53 years, had 2+ million people flood Lower Manhattan for the parade down in what was called the Canyon of Heroes. Pure joy, grown adults crying. And in the middle of all that beautiful chaos, one woman looked at a brand new limited edition blue and orange Knicks themed trash can and decided that it was going on with her. So I'm going to give the unsportsmanlike conduct flag to Angie Baez, 40 years old, and not just some random in the crowd. She was a senior executive at JPMorgan and Chase. Now, listen to what her title is. As I played the video here on mute, this is what she did. She emptied the trash, grabbed it, and just walked away. And she was caught on camera doing it. And I'm going to assume that since this person to the left of her is wearing kind of the same getup as her, that this was somebody who was with her. So they decided that that trash can was worth taking for them as a souvenir. And with that going viral, this executive director of community and industry engagement, community engagement. Remember those two words. She didn't just take the can. She dumped all of it out into the public sidewalk first, in front of stunned pedestrians that are like, what are you doing? Because why steal an empty-ish can where you could just litter all over the streets on your way out? Then she walked off with it on camera, and Chef's Kiss got filmed riding the subway with it. Mass transit holding a trash can, a stolen municipal garbage can like it was her trophy. Of course, it's going to go viral. Why wouldn't it? The internet ID'd her in a day, and JPMorgan, a bank that does not need an "our exec stole a trash can" trending, looked into it and said, "You are no longer employed with this company. Gone, bye-bye." The Karma Buffet. The city then hit her with a $75 littering ticket and a $100 ticket for blocking sanitation. So not only did she lose her probably 200 to 300K total compensation job when you factor in salary plus benefits and bonuses, she also has to pay $175 total, which is the max allowed for first-time offenses for the two things that she got hit with for. And she didn't keep the can. She returned it. And the punchline of all punchlines is the city was selling those same trash cans for $168. She could have bought one of those same trash cans that was clean and didn't have the filth of New York City and saved about $6 to $7 when you think about taxes that could have gotten added with it. So congratulations, Angie. You littered, you stole, you subwayed, you got fired, you got fined, and you still didn't own that trash can. So that, WTF Nation Radio, is my inaugural Unsportsmanlike Conduct recipient, Angie Baez, who stole a damn dirty ass trash can in New York City. Now I'm curious where she's gonna find another job with the title the Executive Director of Community and Industry Engagement. What does that even look like? Let me go see if she's on LinkedIn. Let me go LinkedIn, which y'all, I've got a LinkedIn page. If you want to find me on there, look me up, King Smith. I'm not hard to find. Baez. Let me see if JP Chase. Let me see if her LinkedIn is out there. She probably got it disabled by now. I see a lot of people talk. Oh, is this her LinkedIn? Nope, couldn't find it. Damn. Let me see. Nope. I can't find it. It is what it is. Let me try this one more time. Baez. Yep, no, I can't find it. She might have erased her LinkedIn page. Give Angie Baez the Unsportsmanlike flag. I got to get like an Unsportsmanlike flag that I could do for that segment. That's got to be something new that I introduced, the Unsportsmanlike Conduct segment. Let me see if we got any comments before I go to the next segment here. All right, get this off my screen. Who are these people writing me on LinkedIn? Unless you offer me a job, I don't want it. Remove source. All right, next segment here. What would you do if you were security staring down somebody who you recognize was a UFC fighter and they tried to challenge you? Now, I'm going to bring this video up here by TMZ, as TMZ are like, they're the people that get all the body cam footage. Let me bring this up. Let me close you out. TMZ has to do their thing where they play the ads, hurry up ads, get out the way. All right, I'm gonna actually have to let this go through here, and I'm gonna do this while it's on mute. So this guy got put off of a flight at the Atlanta airport on Father's Day, arrested for public drunkenness, and the body cam footage just dropped today. And we're going to witness what many people who follow UFC calls this guy a legend at his lowest. So let me make this bigger. That's what she said. And we're going to bring this video up. And I want y'all to take a look at how alcohol and traveling is not a good look. Take a listen. Make sure the sound can be heard. And let's go.
Let's go, big dog. Let's go, big dog.
What's going on?
What's up? Bunch of hoes. Let's go. Let's go.
Relax.
No, they lying. Yeah, pull me off the plane. All my boys went to the crib. Now what the
And this is why he got
All right. You Dustin Poirier?
Man, you, bro.
All right, just relax.
Man, you and her and her. I'll fight you right now.
No, I don't want to fight, bro.
I'll go with you right now.
Bro, I don't want to fight, bro. I don't want to
Let's
fight.
go.
I don't want to fight.
Let's go.
Radio, have you?
Yeah,
step
tell
up.
him. Tell him, come on.
Get a couple of
Because it's going to be bad.
Bro, just
It's
step
going to be
back.
bad, my nigga.
Oh, bro.
What's up?
He backing
Bro,
up.
relax.
You want to fight?
Look, like
Wait, it's not
Fight.
several units. It's not
Hide
several
this.
units.
How you
No,
boys gonna
he said bring
fight?
several units out.
bro.
Boy, you
Bro,
You
relax,
gonna
relax, relax, bro.
gonna
Relax.
taste
Relax,
You
bro.
gonna taste it? Now?
Relax.
Bro, I'm gonna bang you up.
Bro, relax.
Give me a good one.
Just relax.
Give me a good one.
Yeah. They kicked him off the
Bunch of
flight.
hoes,
This
bro.
guy's a UFC
Bunch
fighter.
of
bro.
So the security person that this body cam footage came off of realized that he was a UFC fighter. He asked him, "Are you Dustin Poirier?" Straight up asked him. He knew who he was, and he didn't want no smoke. He pulled out his taser. You even heard him activate. You heard the wing.
You know.
What's going on, brother? Talk to me.
Man, the beach is lying hoes, man. Let's go. Arrest me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Arrest me. That's the best way, dog. That's the best way. That's the best way. Hey, pound it.
All right,
Hey,
all right, man.
man, you did a great job, bro. You did a great job.
To then say pound it to the same person that you were about to fight, like he got in his fighting stance and everything, put his hands up like this, just drunk. Look at how empty it is around there. People are like, hey man, I do not want that smoke. And I have to say, hats off to all of the officers that pulled up because they didn't go into a shouting match with them. They did not raise the stakes to make Dustin become a lot more aggressive. And at the end of it all, they got him to say, you know what, just arrest me and put him in handcuffs, and nobody got hurt. Nobody got injured. I'm not saying that in every scenario you can get somebody that is willing to comply and de-escalate. Some people just want to fight. But what these officers did at this airport in Atlanta to get Dustin to not throw his hands, I thought was fantastic. And they should definitely be applauded for the work that they did in getting this guy out of the airport and kept people safe. Other officers should take a look at this tape and that video and see what he did, because the officer could have matched his aggression. And maybe that officer was like, hell no. I know he got hands. And I don't want that kind of smoke. And we can clown the footage, and we will just a little bit, because Dustin, who's a lightweight legend, tried to fight a whole gate crew. But this is where I want us to land as grown men. Dustin ended up putting a statement out there himself, I guess once he calmed down and said, I'm working on myself. And he talked very openly about how brutal the transition is to go from fighting the way that he did to what you can kind of say is a normal life. That's the thing when you get to the top of your craft, like a lot of great people do. If you don't have a solid game plan post-career, we have witnessed famous people struggle with normal day-to-day life. Like, I'm glad I'm not famous. Or if I do get fame, let the fame come from the age that I'm at now. where I've kind of traveled around the world a bit already. I've literally traveled all over the world. I'm not just somebody sitting in a microphone in a basement talking about sports randomly. I've been to Thailand and seen kickboxing matches and Muay Thai over there. I've been to Japan and watched a sumo event. I got pictures of that actually. I've gone to other places and watched racing in these different countries that I've been there. Or what's the thing in England with people on the horses and the sticks and they be hitting the ball? I've watched that. Is it cricket? I've watched that. Right? That transition can be rough for some people. So if I do get fame, let the fame come now. Let the fame and the money come. That's what I need. I need fame and I need money. If I could only have one initially, give me fame, because I think fame has perks too. What do y'all think about that officer? Did that officer do a good job? Or was he just scared? All right, let's see. We got two more things here to cover. Let me check the comment section before I continue. All right, no comments. Two other things to cover. Now, this is a number that's going to make your jaw drop. $800,000 a year. It is being reported that that's what The Athletic was paying Dianna Russini to be the face of their NFL coverage. And we only know that number because the New York Times, which owns The Athletic, just dropped a 5,000-word tell-all about the whole Mike Vrabel scandal and the fallout. They printed her salary in their own paper about their own employee. That's cold-blooded. That sounds like somebody that because she didn't sleep with them, they decided to go scorched earth. Here's a recap for anybody who's missed it or don't follow us since April. There were photos that surfaced back in April of Russini and Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel, both married to other people, looking very cozy at a luxury resort in Arizona. More photos then came out. She resigned April 14th and said that she didn't want to give the story further oxygen, deleted all her socials. And the wild part about this whole timeline is her contract was set to expire June 30th. And The Athletic was in active talks to give her an extension when all of it blew up. So she walked away from $800K and a potential raise. Think about that. $800,000 a year, gone. She was at ESPN for 8 years. Smart and great at what she did. But now, like, the talk isn't just about how good she was at her job, is, well, did she sleep her way to get the type of information that she was getting? It's natural to think that. And that's why The Athletic had to let her go. They were talking about doing an internal review and how that internal review is still ongoing. And Mike Vrabel didn't lose his job. He's back coaching with the Patriots like nothing happened. Now his marriage might suffer, but that's a whole nother conversation. Like, if you're Mike Vrabel's wife, which we know Mike Vrabel because of what he does. I don't know who his wife is. Let me look this up now. Let's go to the Googles. Let's go to Al Gore's internet and look up Mike Vrabel wife. His wife is Jen Vrabel. Job. What does she do? According to Google AI, which is looking this up right now, she used to work as a dental hygienist, graduated from Ohio State in 1988 with a bachelor's degree in dental hygiene. She practiced in Columbus, Ohio. during the early years of her marriage while Mike was in the NFL, and then eventually quit doing that to focus on raising their 2 kids and supporting her husband's football coaching career. If she decides to leave that fool because of what he was doing, oh, she getting the bag. She getting the bag, and she gonna run fast with the bag. But I don't think it's gonna happen soon. Maybe wait for the kids to get a little bit older. Maybe, wait until Vrabel's got a little bit more assets for her to take and run off with. But that would be Vrabel's own undoing for what he was doing. Right? Now, if you're the Russinis, Dianna and her husband, how does that look for them? Like I said earlier in my early monologue, I'm pissed if I'm the kid, not necessarily the spouse or the significant other. I'm pissed if I'm the kid and my parent just lost $800,000 a year. I got a question for y'all that are out there listening and or watching. With Vrabel coaching and Russini gone from her job, is that fair? Or is it the classic double standard that seems to happen with the genders around these type of moves? Other sports analysts weren't getting the same insider information that she was getting. And if you're Mike Vrabel, why her? She must have been, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Let me see if we got any other comments, and then we're going to end here talking about the World Cup. No comments. All right. Last article for tonight. The whole planet is in our backyard, WTF Nation Radio, and a lot of the favorites are getting humbled. People at Vegas are happy because Vegas is making money, and some people that are outside of the wire type thinkers have been making some money too. But the 2018 World Cup that was supposed to be a general stroll for the big dogs instead has added a lot more chaos than people that follow soccer and the World Cups can remember. One day this week, all 4 matches had ended up in draws, the most that has happened in a single day since 1958. As of right now, rankings mean nothing. Reputation for what you have done mean nothing. And the underdogs are starting to write their own story. And the headliner in all of this, Cape Verde, an island nation of about 525,000 people, which is about the size of a mid-sized American suburb, at their first World Cup ever, held Spain, the European champions, to a 0-0 draw. Spain took 27 shots and couldn't score. And then Cape Verde turned around and drew Uruguay 2-2. This is a tiny nation that is genuinely in the conversation to advance. And for people that understand soccer in the World Cup and what's going on, that's crazy. But if you make it to the big dance, it's not about who you were when you got there. It's about what you can do when you get there. All right. Egypt got out and beat New Zealand 3-1 for their first ever World Cup win. Let's see. Canada went 6-0 against Qatar. And the way that the format runs out is 48 teams, 12 groups, 32 advance. So a single point can keep an underdog alive. And the groups conclude June 27th. So we got a couple of more days. And the knockout round of 32 starts June 28th. Now, the U.S. men's national team has been a story as well. In one of the last live streams that we did, I talked about how I didn't quite see the U.S. men's team making it past the semifinals because they've shown up in the World Cup over the last couple of years and just couldn't advance. But they got out, and in their matches, came out won in Group D, and clinched a knockout spot. And a lot of people are saying that they're actually looking pretty damn good. This is also the U.S. men's national soccer team first back-to-back World Cup win since 1930. There were a couple of interesting news that came out of this as well. That's not quite exactly sports related, but it's political related. Like there were a couple of visa controversies that hit. Iran's players got visas, but a chunk of the coaching and support staff were reportedly denied, drawing accusations of politically motivated treatment. The Ivory Coast and Senegal says that fans who were trying to come in and watch the World Cup, their visas were just straight up denied outright. So depending on where you came from, that could have had an impact in your ability to follow this. But also, you really got to zoom out and think about this. If you're going to try to infiltrate a place, and I probably shouldn't be saying this on this microphone, but no, it's common sense. You can use something like an event like this to try and get deep cover people in. And it's under the guise of, I'm coming in to visit your nation and watch the World Cup and support my nation. There's also been several reports of possible ICE presence near venues that have sparked a couple of protests. SoFi Stadium, apparently, is one of those places. Now, LA officials have came out and said that enforcement wouldn't happen at the games, but that it could be subject to change. Some people are going, I don't want to take that chance, and I don't blame them. I think that it's interesting in that with this World Cup, this feels as though this has been one of the most geopolitically charged World Cups ever. And I think it's because of where it's being played, who's hosting, and who's the people in charge. And it's crazy because for as much as people would like to try to keep soccer and politics away from each other, with the way that the World Cup is designed, you really can't help it. Even if you think about the fictional story in Rocky between the USSR and Philly's favorite, right? It was still very politically driven. And this was written just after a time in which the Cold War affected the way we viewed what is now known as Russia over there. Sports can be a great bringer of people together, but it can also be a great divider as well. And the division comes from people who I think aren't quite well traveled and aren't big picture thinkers. Like everybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge Alabama Crimson Tide fan, Roll Tide, right? But Alabama is just the university in the state that I grew up in, and one of the other big college football teams out there that's in the same conference, the SEC, is Auburn University, who are very confused people, by the way, because their mascot is the Tigers, but they say War Eagle. Why does that happen? But at the end of the day, while I will go hardcore as a fan for the college football team that I support, those are still my fellow kinsmen. The only thing that separates the different teams and the people that are student athletes there, or not even just like the student athletes, people that go and get their education, is the name, how much they paid, and the school colors and motto and everything like that. That's it. We don't need to be as divisive as we are think we need to show a little bit more unity for our fellow people. We breathe the same air. We poop the same poop. But I'm really curious to see the remaining stories that's going to come out of this World Cup. I don't have a dog in the fight. If I am going to support a team, I'm going to support the U.S. men's team. So that's my time here for today. If you missed it, Giannis is a Heat. The East in the NBA just got interesting. Derrick Henry, and Jalen Brunson are the same height, and people's brains just won't accept it. The White House made history by hosting a UFC fight on its landscape. We gave away our first ever Unsportsmanlike Conduct Award to a JPMorgan executive who lost her job over a trash can and still don't have the damn trash can. I thought it was great that the city posted a sign that said, "Welcome back." And it was the same trash can that she stole. And I'm not even going to say allegedly because she's on video doing it. Dianna Russini walked away from $800,000 over some sex. I'm just going to say it. Sex. And the whole world is in our backyard playing one of the most chaotic World Cups that we have ever seen. And the U.S. men's national team is sitting pretty. So let us know what you think. Who's your favorite World Cup team? Would you be able to beat Derrick Henry in a 40-yard dash? Could you tackle Derrick Henry? That's what I'd like to know. Tune in tomorrow for Sergeant's Time with Ice at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. We got a Roll Tide in the building from God Happened to Me. And we got a War Eagle from Susan. Susan, oh my goodness. If I would have read that before I processed what was going on, I probably wouldn't have posted it. A legend about an eagle landing on the field during the game is why they say War Eagle. Hey, that's dope. Now, I've been to a couple of Auburn games, right? I've watched Alabama. I was at one of the Alabama games between Alabama and Auburn. So it was an Iron Bowl, and I was on the sideline, which was dope. They did this thing with veterans. And I went down to tie up my damn shoe. And from the time that I tied up my shoe, Carnell Cadillac Williams, who was still in college at the time, took a handoff, went on the right side of the field and scored on an 80-yard touchdown run. And the stadium went bananas. I can't wait until college football comes back. The atmosphere of the college game is fantastic. I heard that if you go to a football or soccer event, that's unmatched. And culturally, and we'll end on this, culturally, there's been now, with the advent of the internet, people that are finding World Cup princesses, if you will. These women that have sexed themselves up. I'm just going to call it what it is. Don't come at me. But they're showing off their bodies and things like that. And they're getting their 15 minutes of fame or sharing or driving people to their OnlyFans links by showing up to these games where you've got alcohol, crazed fans and people, a lot of rah and cheering and stuff. And then they see these people with their cleavage out and they lose their damn minds. And there's a website and a Reddit out there that is dedicated to showcasing these young women who decide to do that. And I'm not trying to objectify these people because they're objectifying themselves. That's my take on it. Don't come at me. Go Georgia Tech. Yeah, we could do that. So Auburn forever. I didn't go there. I went to UAH. I remember that, but my transcripts were accepted. So War Eagle. Hey, as long as you graduated, That's all that matters. As long as you eventually got your degree, that is all that matters, especially if you spent money on it. Anyway, that's my live stream today. I'm about to go play some video games. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, for those that engage with me in the comment section, and for those of y'all that are going to hear this on the audio platforms. I'm King, coaching somewhere, drawing up plays. And until next time, WTF Nation Radio, peace.